Evening, folks. So what we have here is a kind of like a little bit of my wife's family history. It's a gramophone from the 1930s, and it belonged to her father's mother, her grandmother, who was German, and she came over in the interwar years with her British husband, and Lord knows how it was for her, really, on the run up to war. Everyone was under suspicion, etc. And must have been quite the uphill battle. But we think that this was actually purchased on or around the time, sorry, the cat's coming. We actually think this was purchased on or around the time that she came over. It is from the 1930s, so we're right in there. It's German, made in Bremerhaven by Eidene, E-I-D-N-E. I'm no expert, and I believe that they were piano makers, but also made gramophones. It's very similar in design to the HMV gramophones of the time. It's portable, comes in a suitcase called a suitcase gramophone, and it's something you take to picnics, etc. You'll see in the top there's storage there for the records to go on it. So we have this because unfortunately we lost the father-in-law last year, and we're going through his effects, and this is one of the things that was amongst them. It will end up hopefully at RAF Snaith Museum if you want to see it, but the beauty of it is that you can also hear it. It does come with some needles, etc. I don't know if probably some of my older viewers will remember the needles that you used to put in the record player, etc. I don't know if you can see those. Sorry about the lighting, folks, it is a little ad hoc and I'm in the living room where the lighting's shocking anyway. So yeah, it is working, and hopefully it will go on display. We do have several records that came with it. Most of them have come from a shop in Hull, Sydney Scarborough, under the City Hall, Hull.
Scarborough is a seaside town.
Alexa, Ziggy, stop. Ziggy, stop. Sorry, that's Alexa doing her nut. So yeah, it's there's lots of records, mainly from the same store, and I thought I'd just demonstrate it, show it, and hopefully we'll be playing a few tunes over the coming season. We do open again in March, and we hope to welcome you all to RAF Snaith. May time, I think. May, not March. In March we have something else going on, but I'll get to that later. So, took a bit of working out, obviously without the father-in-law being here, and my dad is also long gone, but I'll get you in for a bit more of a closer look. So what we have is there's a button here, small chrome button. When you push that, out pops this little tray on the side that has the copper needles in. We do have some steel needles. Now I don't know why there'd be the difference. I'm assuming that some would be for normal record players and some would be for gramophones. So I chose to use the copper ones, as it's a softer metal. Hopefully it'll be a bit easier for the records themselves. Here we have the sound box, as they call it. That's the thing with the needle on. I don't know if you can see that there, bodgers. And that's what the sound moves a small diaphragm, and that is then amplified here at the back where the sound box is. This is a lock down here that you pull back and it gets locked off, so as this can spin freely. So you'd pull it back and lock it off, and then this will spin freely. So sorry about the dodgy camera work, but it was a little ad hoc, and I've learnt how to use it, sort of. So I thought I'd give it a go. Now if you pull that out, this is where you would store your records, in the top here. I'll show that some of this, the younger viewers amongst you won't even know what these are, as you're from a time where there was CDs, not even cassettes. Cassettes are well gone. CDs and downloads and things. But as you'll see, they're in German. So what I'll do is I'll see if I can find one that looks like it's going to be playable. We'll pop it on, and I'll show you how you would get it working. Let's go with that one again, shall we? So you put it onto the turntable, make sure it's on the pin in the middle, and then you would wind this until you got some tension up. This handle actually removes and would be stored, although I'm not sure on where on this one it's stored. Usually there's some clips in the lid for it to clip into, and I can't really get the handle out, so I'm not entirely sure what to do there. I don't know whether to try and get the handle out so as it's removable, or whether to leave it as is. I'm probably going to leave it as is. It will be on display at RAF Snaith, like I said, probably in a room that's done like an airman's bedroom. So this is a speed variator in the corner for different size records, and you would move that backwards and forwards. It's amazing, after 80 years it still works, and it is very loud. But you get that graininess to the sound. It's like a time gone by. I highly doubt I'll get a copyright strike nowadays. But you see how it goes across quite quickly. So if you know anything about gramophones, hang on. I think we'll turn that off for now, just while I talk to you guys. We'll let the turntable spring run its way out. It's all clockwork, obviously, you're winding up the handle, etc. And I don't want to keep any tension on the spring. It is well over 80 years old, you know, 1930s. It's coming up to being 100 years old, in fact. So I don't want to keep any tension on the spring that actually drives the turntable. Probably not the wisest of ideas. So I'll let the tension go on it. Thing about gramophones, so yeah, if you know phonographs, especially of this period, can you get in touch with me? Because I am trying to find out a bit more about the company. It's C-E-I-D-N-E. C. Edney. And they was from Bremerhaven. And I think this says established 1891. There was a lot of small companies that used to produce these all across Europe. And like I say, the design itself is very much like an HMV. It's like an HMV design. But a bit fancier. It's got a lot more chrome, etc. on it. So it is kind of special, but also comes with family history. She did move from Germany during the war, during the interwar period. Obviously, it was a tumultuous time where Hitler was on the rise and becoming more popular, and people could see the writing on the wall and wanted to leave Germany. Excuse me. She was fortunate enough to be married to an Englishman, and he brought her over during that period. But it'd be quite the adventure. I don't think she spoke a lot of English, and it'd be quite hard to get torn away from your homeland. In amongst his effects, I have found a poem that was written by her. It's in German, and I will try and translate it, and I'll bring that to you. I'm going to read that to you next, I think. And it kind of tells the story of how she was feeling at the time, leaving her homeland and not knowing what her future would be. Excuse me. Or indeed that of her family that was left behind. So yeah, I'll read that to you now. Her name was Gretel, and like I say, she was married to an Englishman, and it will have been quite the adventure, leaving Germany with the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party, and it's quite a scary time for a young woman. It's hard to believe that it's more like the family, the personal story of Gretel. Her name was Gretel, and she came from a valley. There was a small village called Antonau, and she kind of in the middle of Germany, and they made the way up and out and across the pond into Britain, where hopefully she was going to be safe. But obviously she was German, and people were very distrustful of Germans when they did get here. And I should imagine that during the war period it would be quite hard, especially hearing that bombings were happening around, about the bombings etc. of Germany, and worrying about her family. But she did leave. She did write at the time. Sorry, I'm scrolling through my phone because I've had to use Google Translate. My German is lousy. Just bear with me. So yeah, here is the poem. It's handwritten. I don't know if you can see that because of the light, and the writing is quite exquisite. But luckily, Google Translate has managed to make something of it. So I'll read that to you now. My home valley. My home is in the most beautiful meadowland, where I often spent hours walking out into the valley. I greet you, my home valley, 1,000 times, where I often spent hours walking out into the valley. It is Google Translate, so bear with me. Must I now depart from the valley? Joy and sound, this is my most bitter suffering. My last walk, I greet you, my home valley, 1,000 times. This is my most bitter suffering, my last walk. If I die, I want to be buried in the valley below. Sing along at the last hour in the evening night. This, O homeland valley, greeting you for the last time. Sing to me at the last hour of the evening light. The onset of war was always coming. It was inevitable that the Nazis were going to take over Europe, and many people like Gretel were lucky enough to get out in time before he came to power. They took what belongings they had, maybe even gramophones and records, to try and remind themselves of home and the people that had left behind. It's not easy leaving your homeland. But the solace is that just as in the request of her handwritten poem, her ashes were spread in the valley of Antonau, and she returned home to the place that she loved so much, the places that she walked, the people she knew. But she embarked on the journey. She took the chance. She later, when she got to Britain, she had 3 boys, and one of those was the wife's father. He spoke German, and up until the dementia could still speak some German. He got a little rusty, but yeah, I can't imagine the worry that she went through for her family. The Allied forces were bombing across there, trying to take out the Nazi regime, and as with war, there's always casualties, civilian casualties. The family are still there, some of them, and the father-in-law would visit from time to time, but we might do a visit ourselves one day, we'll see. It would be nice to take the wife there, just see what the place is like. But we have our own adventures ahead of us, and ultimately that's what the Allies had fought for. So this piece, it will be going to RAF Snaith Museum. You'll be able to see it on display from around March, I believe, that we're open, somewhere around there, the end of March, somewhere around there. I will let you know on the social medias, and we'll be able to play some of the tunes, some of the records, because ultimately it's that brings it to life. Brings the story of Gretel and people just like her, escaping unknown horrors that were to come. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you later.